What if the most important tool for a modern nurse isn't a stethoscope, but actually a critical mind? In our super connected world, the skills that save lives are changing, and they're changing fast. So let's dive into the new literacies that are becoming absolutely essential for nursing today. This right here, this isn't some hypothetical scenario. This is a real story from a nurse educator, and wow, it's a stark reminder of a huge danger we're all facing. Misinformation isn't just online chatter. It's a direct threat to patient safety. It's a battle that nurses are fighting on the front lines every single day.
So, that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? With this endless flood of information coming at us, some good, a lot of it bad, what new tools do our caregivers need to protect the people they serve? Well, the answer starts with a pretty big shift in how we think about technology itself.
And this is where our first big idea comes in, the concept of the critically digital nurse. And believe me, this is about so much more than just knowing how to use a computer. See, for a long time, digital literacy pretty much just meant, knowing how to use the software. That was the old way. But the new standard, critical digital literacy, is all about digging way deeper. It's about analysis, it's about critique. The bottom line is we're moving from being passive users of technology to becoming active investigators of it. So, what does that actually mean in the real world? It means looking behind the screen. Who created this piece of information? What's their agenda? It's all about questioning the why and the who, not just blindly accepting the what. And you can really think of this as a journey. A modern nurse evolves. They might start as just a consumer of digital info, but then they become a creator of trustworthy content, maybe making clear infographics for patients. And then, finally, they become an active critic, ethically evaluating everything from a viral social media post to a new academic study. But the digital world is only half the story.
Okay, so let's build on that, because the challenges of our connected world aren't just about technology. They're also deeply human and cultural. Here's another real-world story. A nurse was working with a newcomer family and quickly realized that their health beliefs, their ways of communicating, they were completely different from what the staff was used to. It really took patience and a genuine willingness to understand a different worldview to provide care that was actually effective. And that story is the perfect setup for our second key skill, global competence. It's really this ability to step outside of our own cultural bubble, to truly listen and understand different perspectives, and to see how our individual interactions fit into a much bigger global picture. And what I love about this is how it turns a big, kind of abstract idea into a practical roadmap. It's a four-step process, right? You start by seeing the big picture, then you work to understand the individual, then you focus on communicating with respect, and finally, you take action that makes a real difference. So we've got these two really powerful concepts, critical digital literacy and global competence. But here's the thing, they aren't separate skills you just check off a list. They actually combine to form a whole new mindset. So it all starts with that foundation, having the ability to think critically and navigate this complex digital world. And then you layer on top of that a deep empathy and an understanding for different cultures and different viewpoints. And when you put those two powerful skills together, what you get is the globally literate nurse, a professional who is truly equipped for the challenges of 21st century healthcare. And I really want to pause on this for a second. These skills are not optional extras. The source material is crystal clear on this. They are fundamental to compassionate, effective care. They're not add-ons. They are the new core of the profession. Okay, so if these skills are so essential, that leads to a huge question. How do we actually teach them? This requires a pretty profound rethinking of how we educate our nurses, both the new ones and the experienced ones. Right? How do we systematically build these advanced skills into the very DNA of the profession, starting from day one of nursing school and continuing all the way through a nurse's career? And the key here is that the approach has to be tailored. For student nurses, it's all about hands-on, problem-based learning. But for nurses who are already practicing, it's more about creating these supportive communities for ongoing learning and for tackling really tough issues like cultural bias head-on. And the strategies to get there are super dynamic and hands-on. We're talking about things like role-playing difficult conversations, creating safe spaces where people can actually discuss thorny issues like inequity, and even using digital storytelling to reflect on tough clinical calls. This is active, reflective learning, not just memorizing facts from a textbook. So, we focused a lot on nursing, but the implications here are so much broader. And that brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with. As our world becomes more digital and more interconnected every single day, what are the essential new literacies that your profession needs to really thrive?